everyone. Welcome to the world of Editor X. I'm Lior. Thank you so much for joining us. We have some big announcements today and exciting new features that will be demoed here on this stage. But before we go further, let's hear from some of our creators.
You've got all these flexible tools that you think should have been in web design applications forever, but they haven't been.
My name is Andrea Bollier, and I own a creative agency here in Maine.
Audrey Wa. I am currently a freelance designer.
I'm the co-founder of Lumo Design Studio.
Adrian from Australia, and I run a marketing agency.
My name is Shane Griffin. I'm a visual artist and director based in New York City. Primarily work in 3D and artistic live action. I'd say my work's always kind of pursuing a sense of evolutions.
At Studio Linear, we work with musicians and record labels. What has attracted us to the Editor X platform is that ability to take on projects that are going to push us as designers and give the client something very different.
It all starts from a place of expression and experimentation, and for the longest time, I could never make a website because there was nothing that allowed me to attack a website like that. I couldn't go and start just throwing stuff on a page and see if it worked. And then when I used Editor X for the first time, then I knew I was like, okay, this has it all.
Everything was really thought out, this user experience and this designer experience.
For the most part, it's visual. But then there's also that element of being able to control everything down to the numbers.
It gives you the developer level control in a designer's world.
You're not double handling. You design and develop it at the same time.
And the only limitation is really what you can imagine.
Now more than ever, we're kind of sharing content in so many different ways, in so many different formats.
But from a development point of view, when we're working with 100 different viewports, it feels like it's impossible. If you hand over some of those tools to the designer, you're actually saving yourself not just an hour or two, but like days and weeks.
And that is what sets Editor X apart. We're not limited by templates or structure.
It's got the flexibility to be able to move those sections around.
So you're creating something beautiful at every single level.
And I think our clients expect that. And the website becomes an extension of a client's branding. I've never had this opportunity to build from what can I think up today? What can I dream up?
It's more about just pushing the edge of what we can do and creating the work that we really want to be able to create.
It feels more like an intuitive, artistic piece of software.
The most powerful thing is that you can do whatever you want.
We couldn't be more proud to share these first-hand experiences with you. It was 1 year ago that we launched Editor X with the mission to transform the web design experience for creators everywhere. Little did we know just how much that sense of empowerment would become crucial in our world today. In these times of unprecedented uncertainty, the power of design more than ever is in your hands. And how incredible it's been to see you realize the opportunity that lies within a blank canvas to bring your client's vision to life. The world is starting to recognize how digital creations transcend their influence into the physical realm, from driving social change to inspiring creativity and offering a lifeline to so many determined businesses and individuals. And while the rest of the world continues to wonder about the impact design has, we'll continue to ask ourselves how we can empower designers to achieve that impact. Since the dawn of Editor X, our product teams have been guided by your creative needs. We're constantly evolving with and for you to break new ground and challenge the ordinary with the ultimate platform for digital creators. So yes, it's been an eventful year, but our promise remains the same. Your design freedom is at the center of everything we do, and the intuitiveness of your creation experience will never be compromised. Editor X is on an unstoppable wave of innovation, and we can't wait to bring you along. But before we dive in, let's take a quick look at where the product is today and where we're headed.
What happens when you break away from the ordinary? When you step out of your comfort zone? Get rid of the hesitation toss out the limits. You become unstoppable. Editor X, the advanced web design platform for professional creators. Push the boundaries of responsive web design, where CSS meets smooth drag and drop. Lean into your creative curiosity to craft extraordinary displays of content, managed through an integrated code-free CMS. Never compromise on visual harmony. With seamless interactions, advanced layouting tools powered by CSS Grid, and custom breakpoints to fit any screen size imaginable. Transform web experiences with robust e-commerce solutions and unlock the potential to build advanced web applications with custom JavaScript and APIs on a built-in open development platform. All that power, now for teams. Thousands of creators are experiencing the new standard in web design. Is your team ready?
So, as you've just seen, we're introducing new features and design capabilities that will transform your creation process even further. But just take a look behind me at some of the visual masterpieces you've created already. And this is only a small glimpse. Now is the perfect time to invite Moore, head of Editor X, to give us some deeper insights into how these creations are all possible.
Thanks, Lior. Yes, it's been an exciting year for us. Editor X achieves what no other platform does. It combines the precision of the best visual design tools with the power of the most advanced website building platforms. Designers get an intuitive drag-and-drop canvas with granular control over the layout and design of elements at every viewport. With all that, Editor X's output is always optimal, modern CSS. During this last year, we've expanded our offering to include a whole host of new expression capabilities and collaboration tools. Your valuable feedback has guided our product and development team throughout this journey. We introduced a new abstraction of CSS classes that allows creators to add and remove dynamic layout and design definitions to any component. We've also built an entirely new infrastructure to support a streamlined creation process for teams. We're going to demonstrate a lot of these new capabilities today. So after a year of incredible progress, I'm happy to say Editor X is now officially out of beta. Now that we've passed this milestone, there's a lot we want to show you on the product. So let's head over to the demo station and meet two of the brilliant minds behind Editor X. So Gali here, hi Gali, is our head of product, and Salik is our head of R&D.
Thanks, Mo. We're so happy to be here and thrilled that you're with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of cool stuff to show you, so let's get on with it.
So in order to demonstrate some of the power of Editor X and our key new capabilities, we'll bring you in on a creation process we're currently working on for a brand that I'm sure most of you will know. This year, Editor X is proud to be partnering with Off Barcelona. Having started out as a conference for designers, Off today houses a thriving community of artists of all disciplines, and it acts as a hub for creators all over the world. We teamed up with Off as they kick off their 2021 season, and we took up building their official new website.
Right. And through a lot of conversations with the Off team, we broke down their site requirements into a series of specs. We needed to cover three aspects: design, content, and business functionality. Since Off is a brand for creators, designers, animators, and artists, we need to deliver on their most extreme visual ideas. In terms of content, the Off team wants to add and update a ton of dynamic content, both textual and visual, across multiple sections and pages. And as an events hub, they'll need a powerful business system, offering ticket sales and the ability to monitor guest lists. So today, we're going to show you some of this creation process, and along the way, reveal some of Editor X's exciting new capabilities. Gali, do you want to kick it off and show what we've done with the homepage?
Sure, I'd love to. So here's the design we're working on for their official new homepage. Off Barcelona are one of my all-time favorite brands, so this partnership is a dream. They really allowed us to go wild and push the limits of the platform. You'll see we've got a lot of visual power going on here, coupled with our deep business infrastructure, of course. We've used a lot of our different layouting tools. Here's one of our flex layouts in slider mode. And as you can see, the site is fully responsive. We've made very specific design decisions for every screen size. Moving down here, you'll see a complex grid layout and then some of my favorite moments with the sticky pileup effect and these background scroll effects. This area takes you to our integrated event system, which adds a ton of power. And down here, you'll see a lot of OFF's global locations. I can't wait to show you how we set it up. But first, Sadiq, do you want to head into the editor?
Thanks, Gali. So here we are inside the Editor X workspace. Some of you are already familiar with it, but for those of you who haven't seen it yet, here's a quick tour. You'll notice we have a wide, flexible canvas, and using the resize handles on the sides, you can view and design your sites at any viewport width. From the top, you can easily jump between the different site breakpoints, customize them, or add your own. From the stage, you can drag and drop any element with a smooth guided experience. Over here in the Add panel, you'll find a selection of different components. You have text, buttons, menus, your own safe design, and at the bottom, you got quick access to some of our extensive range of integrated business solutions. You've got a blog, a store, booking system, events, all fully maintained on our end. On the right, you'll find the Inspector panel, where you have deep CSS control over all elements and behaviors on the site. If you want to write your own code, you can switch on dev mode and add your own business logic. We'll get to that later in the demo.
Thanks, Sadiq. So let's dive into some of the highlights of the creation process. Off is just one example, but when you're creating a ton of assets for one brand, you want a centralized bank of all the resources that your whole team can access. So before we built a single part of the site, we created a shared design library just for Off, and it has all of their typography, colors, and design assets. And because I've applied this library to the site, it's populated in many places. You can find it here under our design assets, and also here in our theme manager. And because every single component on the site is wired to it, any change I will make will be reflected. So let's go ahead and make a change. And as you can see, it affected the whole site. And now I can make a decision if I want to update the design library so my whole team can enjoy this change, or I can just keep this change local and have it for this particular site. Now I'm going to backtrack to our original design. Perfect. Now let's move on to our header. Here I want to show you an example of our new header scroll capabilities. You'll see that our header here has two parts. We have this main nav bar, and we have this white early bird strip. Now I want to control how both parts behave as we scroll down the page. So I'm going to go into our layers panel. And as you can see, I've renamed all of my layers by double-clicking here. Now I've selected my header, and I will move into the inspector. Here in the inspector, we have our scroll section, and I'm going to choose fixed. Now you can see I have a whole new world of CSS capabilities, from move to fade and color change effects, all triggered on scroll. So what I'm going to do in this case is set my transition toggle on. I'm going to keep this direction, but I'm going to change the distance here. I want it to travel as much as the early bird strip. So I'm going to do 36 pixels with a 0.2 delay for a nice and smooth transition. And here I have a whole range of options for ease effects. I'm going to choose a less linear one, an in-out chord. And now for the fill color. So I want, no matter where the visitor scrolls, to have the navigation bar pop. So I'm going to select this popping pink over here from our theme. And now let's go ahead and check out what we got. So here, just with a few clicks, I was able to go really deep inside the CSS. And this is exactly what I wanted in terms of design, but also in terms of visitor experience. And you know, I've been a web designer for many years, and I have to say, even a year ago, before Editor X, I couldn't achieve this level of control without a developer in such an intuitive, designer-friendly way.
Let's take a look at the event highlights. In this section, we'll show you how to use a repeater connected to our integrated CMS. This is an ideal combination when you're working on a site that has tons of dynamic content and you want to display it in a uniform layout. It's great for feature listings, team profiles, and in our case, event highlights. I'll show you how to set this up. Here in the Add panel, under Layout Tools, you'll find a selection of blank repeaters. I've already started to customize mine, so let's continue from there. So since this layout is based on Flexbox technology, you can see that it seamlessly resizes across screens without any special effort on my side. Here on mobile, I made a totally different design choice. I hid my images for a better usage of space. So now I just want to populate this repeater with some actual content. So I have all my content set up in this database. From here, I can add, manage, and update every kind of rich content and sync it directly to any component in the site. And you'll notice that in this collection, we have 3 fields: a text, a date, and an image. Now let's connect this data to the repeater we just saw. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna select the repeater and press the connect to data. I'm gonna choose the collection we just saw as the source, and I'm gonna connect each component in the repeater to the related field in the collection. So I've connected the image, I'll connect the speaker name and the date. Great. Now, let's see how it looks. Great. So we can see that all the content from the collection appears in my repeater. And if I switch to mobile, we can see that I have the same content, just with a different layout. So I've updated this content today, but the off team have their own content manager who's responsible for updating all the website content. And this is where Editor X roles and permissions come into play. For every member of a team, you can specify different permissions so they have a custom experience focused on their role. This also prevents them from making unwanted changes. So to demonstrate this, I'll open a new tab, simulating how the editor would look for a content manager. Let me point out what's different here. As you can see in the toolbar, this person doesn't have any access to the theme manager, as this is reserved only for people with design permission. And if I click the image here, we can see that some of the actions are disabled, but I could still change the image if I wanted to. The content manager doesn't need to worry about messing up the layout as they make the changes to the site. This level of advanced role customization is great for everyone who works with you on a project, from designers to content writers, and of course, the development team. So let's jump back into our creation process here. I want to show you more of our layouting solutions. The repeater in the last section was based on Flex, making it perfect for this kind of modular design, where the layout adjusts naturally across viewports. But when you want to have exact control over how elements relate at each breakpoint, you've got to go for a grid. And in this next section, the layout is pretty wild, hence our decision to use a grid. CSS Grid is one of the fundamental layouting tools for building intricate designs. Here, I've already set up my grid on desktop. From the Layers panel, you can see that what I actually have is one master grid with 4 smaller grids inside of it. And from the stage, I can grab any grid line and with my mouse, resize the grid quite easily. If I want to gain more control, I can go to Advanced Grid Editing mode, where I can use the whole range of CSS units. For the second row, let's change it from 1FR to max content. Great. Now the row height adjusts to the content inside. So desktop is pretty much done, but why am I doing this all by myself? Hang on a sec. Let me leave a comment. So I've just written a comment to Gali, and since I've tagged her, she will get notified with a link that will take her directly to this component, which I wrote the comment. So I can see that Gali replied. Thanks, Gali. And I have to tell you, for our team, this is one of the most exciting developments on Editor X. The direct communication on this project really transforms the way teams work together. And you may have noticed Gali's avatar just popped up here, but it's actually even more useful than that. I can actually click it and I'll follow her to mobile. And now I can see where she is and how it's going.
So what I'm doing here is from a Just Grid, I'll choose a new layout that's more suitable for a smaller screen. The system knows how many cells I have in my original grid, so it offers me smart suggestions. I'll go for this 1x4. And now it looks perfect. Great.
Guys, let's take a moment here. Our viewers may be wondering what's going on. To put simply, Salik and Gali are both editing the same site at the same time. So I'd like to introduce now true concurrent editing on Editor X, making us the first ever fully collaborative website creation platform. At this point, it's important to mention the fact that Editor X takes full advantage of the extremely powerful infrastructure of Wix. We're able to use real-time technology and create both present services and concurrent document management technology. This deep and stable infrastructure allows multiple users to work on the same website at the same time without risk of conflict or corruption. Present services, showing up as those little avatars you're seeing on the top right, are a gateway to a host of features and act as a channel for sharing a lot of live updates between users. And consider what this means for your own teams, when every stakeholder can jump on at the same time to contribute to the creation process. Right now, Gali is busy with mobile, and Sally can continue working on desktop. Later on, they can bring in a developer to add in some code. No more handovers or duplicated sites, just one streamlined workflow with your whole team from initial concept to final publish.
So after hopefully blowing your minds over there, I'm gonna keep throwing the good news at you. And in this next section, we have a list of all the locations where the off events are happening. I want to make it interactive with a lot of movement and color. So I'll introduce to you a new feature that many of you have been waiting for. I'm really happy to say that Editor X now offers a whole range of code-free interactions. Okay, so I've actually set up all of my locations except one, and this one we will do together. So first off, I'm gonna grab a video and I'm gonna drag it to the stage. Now I'm gonna stretch it and turn it into a background. Next up, I'm gonna choose from our breadcrumbs over here, the parent container, and move into our new interactions mode. From here, I can do a lot of things. I can set the state, and I can also choose exactly what I want to happen. I can set the opacity, the rotation, scale, skew. In this example, we'll focus on translate, which is a CSS property that asks elements to move in space. So I'm gonna move to our default state, and now I'm going to select our video. And I'm gonna change its translate to a -100%, so it's under my container. Now I'm gonna move back to my hover state and bring back the video. Next up, I'm gonna choose each of the texts because I want them to move out of the frame. So for the Lisbon here, I'm gonna do a -100%. And for the date, I'm gonna do a -300%. Now I want to control the timing. So I'm gonna use our timing panel here so they all happen at the same time. I'm gonna change it to 0.5. And now I think we're ready to go. So you can actually play it here, but let's do the full effect and move to preview. So super nice. Every time you hover on each of the location, we reveal this really beautiful video. And again, this is just one example of what you can do here. And there we have it. Code-free interactions are here on Editor X. And I can't wait to see what you do with it. Actually, let's take it even a step further and add some business logic here. Sadiq, what do you think?
So, Gali, I have an idea, and I think it's a cool one. I want to show a countdown timer next to each location when I hover on it. So, from the Layers panel, I'm going to unhide a container that I've prepared before. And this container contains two fields, the countdown itself and what we're counting down to. So now I'm going to switch on my dev mode, and I'm going to activate some code that I wrote earlier. And what this code does is fairly simple. Ops events are in many locations, in different countries at different times. And every time I hover on a location, we calculate their remaining time to the event start time and display the countdown timer. So let's go to preview and see how all of this looks together. Cool. So I'm hovering on Lisbon, and we can see that we have 261 days to the event. And if I move my mouse and over on Barcelona, we can see we have 120 days, and so on. So, Gali, this is just one example, but the ability to add your own custom code adds a whole nother layer to your work. You can break the boundaries of the platform, integrate with any API in the world, and add business logic to fit any need.
Well, I think you two can go on forever, but we're going to stop here. Thank you, Gali and Salik.
Thank you.
Okay, so we demonstrated a lot. Let's take a minute to recap on what's new in Editor X. You saw a lot of our new expression capabilities, and we introduced code-free interactions, which I know a lot of you have been asking for. We shared a lot about our new collaboration suite today. Let's look at what it means for you and your creation process. With shareable design libraries, you can align brand identities across multiple projects, build brand books, and share assets with your team. With our advanced roles and permissions, you can ensure every member of your team has a tailored experience on the platform. Not to mention, this access control feature is great for collaborating with a client. Then we come to real-time collaboration, live commenting and concurrent editing that give you the ultimate teamwork experience, which Gali and Salik have demonstrated so nicely. The great news is we're starting to roll all of these features today, and you can expect full deployment in a few weeks. Leo?
Guys, the demo was absolutely mind-blowing. Before we take answers, before we start answering some of your questions, I want to invite you all to stay here with us after this event for the after party, where you'll be able to join us for a live creation session and watch 5 Editor X designers build sites in real time. Okay, so it's time for us to start with some questions. So, Gali, the first one is for you. You showed the cool pile-up effect on the off homepage. Can you tell us more about it? Is that new? How does it work?
Thanks, Leo. That's a great question. Actually, there are a lot of new features we didn't get a chance to dive into today. Sticky position, which created that pile-up effect, is just one of them. Maybe Shiri from our team here can actually share really cool examples on the live chat from collaborations we did with designers and just really amazing things you can do with it. And in general, there's also Academy X, and you can find there tons of really useful content from how-to videos to tutorials on all of our features.
Yeah, great. Actually, really, the Academy is an amazing place for resources to learn more about the new capabilities and features that we offer on Editor X. So the next question here is for you, Salik, about roles and permissions. So you showed the example of the content manager role, but can you edit those permissions, or do you have to stick to the ones that were defined by the system?
Yeah, so we did set a number of predefined roles after speaking with some agencies and teams, learning how they work. But you also have the freedom to mix and match different permissions to create your own custom role.
Yeah, that's great, because actually every team has their own needs, so that's amazing, and I know that many of our users are actually looking forward to start using that. Next question is about comments. So Mo, would you take that one? Sure. Someone is asking if it's only your team members who can comment and communicate with you on the thread, or you can also work with clients and communicate with them on the commenting tool.
Yeah, you can. The way we set up comments is that everyone that collaborates on editing the site, if you're in the editor and editing the site, You can contribute to discussions and create discussions. That means you and your team members. And if you invited people to collaborate, certainly a client is a good case. They can comment, they can participate in discussions.
Cool. So, a follow-up question about the comments is, can you tag someone on a specific element on the site?
You can. We build comments so that discussions attached to components on the website, it can be super granular, like have a discussion about a button or a media item. Or if it's for the general purpose discussion, you can attach the discussion to the page and then it serves for general purposes.
Amazing. Okay, Gali, you'll take that question about design libraries, right? Okay, so the question here is, can you use design libraries by yourself to use for multiple sites, or you need a team in order to use it?
So I would say it's actually great for both use cases. We actually have a lot of users, designers, and agencies already using this feature on our platform, and there are some great use cases there. So some people like to use it to just organize all of their brand assets, colors, typography into organized folders, and some then take those and share it with their whole team. So again, I think it's great for both, and it creates a really amazing workflow.
Salik, the next question is about the amazing concurrent editing capability that you showed earlier. So how many people can actually work on the site at the same time?
So there are actually no hard limit here. We validated that this feature worked for both small teams and bigger ones.
And what happens when two people work on the same section at the same time?
So yeah, this is actually a question that comes up a lot. When two people are working on the same page but different components, there shouldn't be any conflict between them. And the system is actually more advanced than that, so people can actually work on the same component but on different areas. For example, one person can change the layout of the component and someone else will change the style, and still they will be able to work together. But if they are changing the same area, for example, the style, then the first one to do the change will win.
That's absolutely amazing news for all the people that are here with us listening to the concurrent capability that we just announced. So next question, actually it's the last one for today. It's about the business functionality. What's included in the event system that we mentioned on the demo for the Off Barcelona site. So yeah, I will actually take that and elaborate a bit about the business solution. So EditorX offers a lot of business integrated solutions, e-com, blogs, and events, booking system. In this specific site, we actually are going to use the event system. It offers to collect RSVPs, to sell tickets, to manage guest lists, and many more. Actually, for that event that we're having now, we used and ran it all with the event system. So that's great use case also for you to know that. Yeah, I think that's it for today with questions, and it's the best time to start and kick off our after party. So we're going to have a live creation session with 5 of our designers. In a few minutes, you'll be able to take a closer look at the EditorX workspace and watch in real time as these creators take us through the design process on the platform. All of the sites that will be designed today are already available for you to use as templates on EditorX. So if you scroll down now on the streaming page, you'll find 5 thumbnails. Click on any of them and watch over the shoulder as these designers create on the canvas. Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you use these new features and bring your web creation to life in this year ahead. Stay safe and see you next time.
Yay.